Hey guys, and welcome to Snowbreak Containment Zone. So finally, I put together a team building guide for all operatives that started on day one and up to the second year anniversary. So the idea of this list is to basically start off with your support and pair them with the most optimal main operative that you can use with that support. So at least it is actually going to fit your team building needs, because again, there are a lot of main operatives. You could main a lot of operatives, but supports are mainly going to be specific to a team or specific to a specific character. So we'll start off with Yao Nightglow. So Yao Nightglow, as you can see on the left hand side, it's going to be the supports, and you pair them with the main operatives going to your right. So Yao Nightglow is going to be to specialize specifically as a ballistic DPS support. Crossbow damage bonus, inflicts crit damage weakness, and additional damage, and including defense for herself. So the key word for Yao is going to be inflicts crit damage weakness. So mainly, most of the main operatives here can easily do a crit rate or can do crit damage in a high rate manner as well. So that is why they're here. Primarily Life Infinite Sight, Bubu the Geomancer, Chenxing Jade Arc, which she actually is paired with most often, Katya Blue Bolt because Katya does have a crossbow, Fenny Coronet because she does kick in a lot of crit damage as well, and Freesia Turbo. So for our next support, it's going to be Fenny Starshine. So Fenny Starshine also supports ballistic DPS. She does give ballistic DPS additional damage and additional bullet capacity. So in full squad, it also increases full squad ballistic damage DPS. Okay, so we'll start off with who benefits from her. So of course, our new character, which is Katya Rhapsody, she's carrying a Gatling gun, Life Infinite Sight, again ballistic damage because she's carrying a dual SMG, Bubu the Geomancer, Chenxing Jade Arc, Katya Blue Bolt. In the case of Katya Blue Bolt, she does have infinite what do you call this? She does going to have infinite ammo in her magazine. The bullets that Fenny gives her is actually on top of that. So once she consumes the bullets that Fenny give her, automatically she reverts to her regular unlimited ammo. Next is Fenny Coronet, Chenxing, Ethereal Cloud, Freesia Turbo, Yao Winter Solstice, and more or less all of the ballistic damage operatives that we have in this game. So Fenny is actually very straightforward in terms of who she supports. If you have ballistic damage in your DPS, then therefore she can support that main operative. The main difference between Yao Nightglow and Fenny Starshine is because Yao focuses more on operatives to support that can deal crit damage because she gives crit damage weakness. Okay, let's now move to our support that specializes in skill type DPS. Okay, so for Enya, she can support skill DPS damage, increases full squad's skill damage. Okay, so not only does she support damage for standard skill, she can support and ultimate skill as well. So all of them. The only caveat when it comes to Enya is because she does need to stay in place, and the operative needs to be within an area that she controls for that main operative to reap the benefits of her of her enhancing their skill damage. So we do have Enya Tempest, Cherno Enigma, Vidya Agave, Life Wild Hunt, Haru Absconditus series, Freesia, and almost all that can really have a big impact within the area of effectivity of Enya Exuvia. So again, while Enya can support most damages from standard, support skill, and ultimate skill, she is limited in which that main operatives should be within her area of control to be given that buff. So in contrast, Marian Riptide is actually very flexible in terms of giving buffs to skill damage, but she only gives skill damage buff to only standard skills. So take note, that is the difference. She can, she can be flexible whether that the operative is across the map. She is not really, she doesn't really need much to affect the buff, but she gives a good buff for only the standard skill. So we have Nerida, Nita, Katya, Enya Tempest, Cherno Enigma, Vidya Agave, Life Wild Hunt, Harub's Conditus, and almost all of the remaining skill type DPS that we have. So again, the supports of both Enya Exuvia and Marian Riptide are the same in terms of skill damage, but the scope of their support is different. You just have to make sure that your operative can benefit from the support that they get. So these two, there are some that aren't present in Enya, and there are some that aren't present in Marian as well. So you have to take a look at this list. By the way, this list is actually available in the description of this video so that you may check it afterwards and you may reference it once you are into your team building mode already. So next up is going to be Tess the Magician. Tess is basically specializing in U energy recovery, including both self and the squad. So the number one pairing that she actually is going to be with is Enya Tempest. Enya Tempest cannot deal that big of a burst damage without Tess the Magician. So both of these girls are going to be a pair definitely, especially if you're bringing Enya Tempest. Ate Dawnwing and Sherna Enigma is going to benefit from Tess, but in a secondary, in a secondary manner, because Katya and Cherno can literally take down bosses even with their standard skill alone. But if you want to add more ultimate skill damage to the damage that they're going to be dealing, definitely Tess is a must for the pairing, either Katya or Cherno. So another support that is actually good, we do have Mauxer Shadoka. So Mauxer Shadoka is specializing in damage transfer for ballistic and skill damage, so both, but she does have crit rate increase and crit damage increase. So most of the operatives that will benefit from her is mainly gonna be ballistic type damage, but it doesn't mean that you can't bring any skill type damage together with Mauxer. But again, the benefits will be enormously big if you bring ballistic type damage operatives that can deal crit damage and crit rate on a high rate. So we have Life, Infinite Sight, Bubu, Chenxing, Fennec Coronet, and Freesia Turbo. So the next support type, which hasn't been released yet, is actually Tess. So mostly the usual for any anniversary is that the free character is usually a support, and that character would be supporting the DPS type character that was launched during the anniversary. In this case, it is Katya Rhapsody. The closest theory that I can see is that Tess will be Frost. Closest thing, this is just a guess, because in Katya's kit, you will need at least one Frost element character or support to be able to activate or to take advantage of some of Katya's buffs as well. So again, even at M5 for Katya, there is a trigger there that you should bring a Frost type character. So for now, I'm gonna be putting this as a work in progress, because we still don't know what Tess is capable of. For the best supports for all, Definitely the top here is going to be Vidya, Celestial Swan. So you can literally take her with, with anybody in your team. She's the best all-around support that we have so far. So decrease corresponding resistance type and decrease defense is her forte. Plus she gives attack boost as well. Second to her, which actually is going to be Kasha Kaguya, which she was actually the longest running support in this category. She decreases all type resistance, okay, and increases full squad damage. By the way, Akasha Kaguya does have an extra buff for Frost operatives with her gun, with her signature weapon. So you might as well want to bring Akasha Kaguya with your Kacha Rhapsody. Next, in the all-around supports is going to be Ichil the Cub. She is the only operative that does passive healing and bonus healing bonus increase. Plus, the others here are also versatile. Another healer, which is Chen Xing the Observer, Yao Quiet Quitter, and Series the Goldfish specializes in shield, just in case if you want to bring a shield right in front of you while you're shooting enemies. Then Series the Goldfish is actually one of our best supports as well. For the last category, rarely used supports. These supports, again, as it says, they're rarely used, and more or less you won't be able to use them quite as much because there are a lot of better supports than these four. So I just put them here just to tell you guys what they do and more or less what they can offer. So those are the team building tips based on the anchor of the support. What main operatives can be paired with that type of support. Again, the main operative can vary. There are a lot of main operatives, but the supports, they are critical because you have to know their role for them to support your main operative and for you to maximize any damage of your main operative. So what do you think, guys? Comment down in the comment section your thoughts. Take care, stay safe. This is the Warden, and I'm out of here.